Coming up from south of the border, down in lovely Mexico, we have Manuel Viduarre and Edwin Cruz, and they're here to tell us that they're from MagmaLabs, as evidenced by these lovely Magma shirts, which are amazing. That we see at all of the. If you've ever been to a Rails conf before or other conferences, you see these people in these awesome red shirts. They're all from Magma, and they're great folk. So please welcome Manuel and Edwin, and their talk is titled "Your E-commerce Conversion Rate Sucks. Now what?"
Thank you. Welcome everyone. And this talk, we submitted it and we didn't believe it was going to be accepted, because it's not related. This is specifically for technical discussions. But then we said, yeah, we're gonna send it anyway. But first of all, who we are, as they mentioned in the intro, we are from Mexico. We are from the company that name is MagmaLabs. We are a dev shop in Mexico. We have all the engineering running in Mexico and presence in the US, also focus on e-commerce. My name is Edwin Cruz. I'm basically running all the engineering department, and he is my friend and partner, Manuel.
Yes, I'm Manuel. I'm actually the VP of Product Development. And part of our team is also in the back. There are some designers and developers there also.
It was hard to get here, but we made it.
We made it. A long flight. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start.
Yeah. This is more a rhetorical question for you. How many of you have implemented an e-commerce? Almost everyone. Yes. But now the other question is, how many of you have used metrics to drive part of that development effort? Evidence. Yeah. Many of you. Great. Then, what we are going to talk today is about, next one, please, conversion and conversion marketing, and why it's important for an e-commerce to have good conversion rates. And the conversion marketing actually is the act to converting site visitors to customers. Okay, next one. The conversion rate is based on the number of visitors that achieve some goal. We want the people to have some specific behaviors. The problem is usually the people do wherever they want. Then we need to design and develop the things in a way that we can achieve those goals and define very well what are those goals. Next one, please. And usually we suck, you suck, because it's very difficult to do this in a good way.
To think of how the
Yes.
customer think.
Yes, exactly. Then, tell us, in your experience, what are some factors for poor conversion rates? Anyone? Yes?
Site difficult to navigate.
Yeah? Navigation? Yes, right. Others?
Number of steps.
Yeah? Yeah, then we have some quotes. That's say for nobody. I love web pages. I love when the ads autoplay. I love when I can use this. I cannot use this in my mobile device. I love all that distracting content with bells and whistles because it's amazing. And I love spelling mistakes, usually. Yeah, I love those. Next one. And why is this important? Because that is money. Conversion rates are important because it's for return of investments. And e-commerce usually is based on sales. Then what we can do? What are the different options that we have? And in our experience, this is one answer. Not to be pirates as usual, is the pirate metrics. Somebody have heard about the McClure pirate metrics? No? No one? Oh, then this is going to be good. Excellent.
Phew.
Yeah. I'm glad about that. Dave McClure actually is the vampire of 500 startups. He runs an accelerator and a program around the globe to support startups. And he developed a framework that he called it Pirate Metrics, because the acronym R, like the pirates. And that means acquisition, activation, revenue, retention, and referral. Different stages for our visitors in an e-com or wherever, a startup. Then the acquisition, we are going to review each of these different stages and some techniques that we can implement in e-com to use those. Yes. Then, next one, please. We are going to start with the acquisition part. All the startups and all the e-coms, you can have excellent materials, but if you don't have customers, what is going to happen? Yeah. Then, the first technique.
Search engine optimization. As all of you know, search engine optimization, it's hard. So this is the first thing that we look when we're implementing new e-commerce sites, because this is the organic way the new customers are going to come to our client sites. You know, and if we do it correctly, we can get free users. You know, you don't have to pay for ads or for some marketing guys to bring more customers to your site. It's really hard to do correctly. The SEO is not. It's from the technical side it's hard, and also from the content party side. You know, we need to work as a team. The marketing, well, the writers and the technical people to get it done right. Why? Because if you see, for example, this is our site that we launched, and organically we were getting a lot of visitors and a lot of sales out of the organic search engines, and this was within the first month of launch. It was a site that we launched in Mexico, and it was organically bringing more visitors, and it was getting traction. You know, it was because we spent a lot of time thinking about the SEO. And of course, the acquisition, it means a lot of the things that you mentioned at the beginning. We need the fast sites, we need responsive sites, we need sites that they can be usable in any device, well, almost any device. We need to know what browsers our customers are visiting the sites and everything. You know, the basic best practices for a normal website, you know, the ones that Yahoo published like 10 years ago. You know, and then as the next one, it's activation.
Yeah, the activation is the second stage in this framework. And that means once that we have acquired a user, we don't want only to have that user in the website. We want that user to have some behavior, response to some call action. Then usually what we should design is actually the content and the copy to be very focused to the different behaviors that we want the user to be active. And we build specific landing pages with parts for clear call actions. This is, for example, one extension to Spree that we use, and we are now with the inspiring message of Clark committed to port to Solidus, and this is Spree Social Products. And Spree Social Products is in the product detail page, adds the social buttons to share information for that specific product. Other technique is that is very important for the activation is to design the e-com for mobile devices. As you know, the mobile devices are growing as visitors, and we had in several case studies that we did for our customers, we found that several visitors use mobile devices, but the bounce rate is larger than desktop users, because usually the sites are not optimized for mobile devices. Also, something that is very important for activate the customers is to have a product recommendation engine, and how to transform those customers' behaviors, analyze them, and then based on that information, create specific and personalized recommendations for your customers. And that is something that we are working on more and more.
Yeah, one example, if for one customer we implemented a landing page, the homepage, if a visitor comes, let's say from LA, we will show some kind of clothes. They were selling clothes, and the visitor was coming from New York. We were showing, let's say, jackets. So it was more targeted. The products that we were showing in the beginning, the homepage, and the conversion rate is starting to grow up. So it was hard to do it technically because it is not like a straightforward. The CMS that we were using, we have to modify to support this localization content, but at the end, it was very rewarding.
Yeah. Now, the third stage in the framework, that is revenue. That means when a visitor that is active actually purchases something. And then we have some problems.
Yeah.
And one is?
For example, the abandoned carts. Abandoned carts is killing us. We don't know how to do a really fancy checkout, one-click checkout or something, just to try to improve this. But it's really hard. So one way to deal with this is, to launch abandoned cart campaigns. You can design a very fancy email template where you can include some of the items they forgot to check out or something. Maybe they were waiting for the bus and they were navigating in the phone. They added something to a cart, and then the bus came, and then they forgot about it. And then 2 days later, you can send an email, let's say in business hours, where you know that they are in the desktop, so they can continue doing the checkout. So this is one of the good techniques to create more revenue.
And also, another technique to abandon carts is the retargeting. That usually the retargeting means that you have a visitor, you track that visitor, and using different services, this prospect leaves the website and he or she visits other websites, the ads are actually targeted to your e-com, offering things that are related to the previous behavior that he or she has in the website. Then your ads are more effective in that way, using retargeting. Also, something that is very important for the conversion to do the revenue is the trustability. And the trustability is a concept that you should, in your design and your user experience, to gain the trust of your visitors. Using, for example, the logos, PayPal logos. For example, if you use PayPal or other securities or certifications that your website has. Also about to have clear customer service, to be very clear about how the people could do things. That is very important to gain trust.
How to return products, because that's very important.
Yeah. Something that also is very effective for revenue is the promotions. And promotions sometimes are very, very difficult. There are several extensions and include in court also how to do promotions. And we can use different channels.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Based on some analysis of the different channels for do promotions and also e-com, there are, for example, the search engine marketing that is huge, but also more and more the social commerce is gaining terrain in this avenue. The offline advertising is less effective. You can use also online advertising and marketing.
Yeah, also for keep measuring how good your checkout is, for example, to create some revenue, we use a lot Google Analytics. For example, you know how to define goals, how to implement, how to enable e-commerce and that and everything. And for example, this is one checkout flow that we have in one of our stores. And if you look in between shipment and payment, in that step, we were losing a lot of people. And we were wondering why? And we started to measure, we started to implement, we started to measure more and more. Also, at the point that we used Mixpanel to see where they were clicking, and we found that at the end, that most of the users that they were dropping off from that stage, they were from mobile devices, either tablet or phones, and they were stuck in the address input. And it was because the autocomplete, it was messing up with the address, with the street name. they were just trying to type their street name, and they were auto-completing for something else, and they were like, oh, okay, I'll do it later, and they forgot about it. So as soon as we disabled the autocomplete, the auto-capitalize, and auto-something, there are three, we started to get better conversion rate between the shipping and payment. Also, between payment and confirm, the credit cards, it was really hard to make them pass. For example, in Mexico, we have a lot of problems with chargebacks. So this stage is really crucial because a lot of our customers, they drop off at the beginning. So it's really hard to optimize that. Also, we found that the rest, we don't actually have the 77% of conversion because another 10%, they are going to PayPal Express. So we found out that later. We didn't know at the time. So when we were doing the analysis, and then when we found that, we were happy. And then, of course, in the confirm, when everyone is in the thank you page, in the confirm page, you need to do something to bring them again to the home page. I don't know, doing some recommendations, or maybe in the email, putting them in related products or something, something like Amazon does, like recently, usually brought together or something. So we use Google Analytics a lot with the Ecom and Mixpanel to track the user behavior.
Yeah, the fourth stage in the framework is actually the customer retention. And that means you don't want a customer to buy once from you. You want usually repetitive buyers. And that is where the techniques for customer retentions came in place. Then one thing that we found that it give us also some retention is the shipping optimization. And shipping optimization means integrating the systems of your shipping sellers in a way that you can provide feedback of the shipments to your buyers. It's very important for them to track and have information updated for the shipments that they and goods that they bought from you.
Yeah. Also, whenever someone buys something and they want to return it, as I told you earlier, showing labels that how the returns process is going to work is really crucial for the buyers, because technically speaking, returning is hard. It's really hard. We have a lot of different return reasons, and each return reason triggers something. For example, if they are returning it for poor quality, you cannot put it in stock again. If they are returning because the size was wrong, then you can put it back in stock to sell it again, but you need to reship something else, and then who's going to pay the shipping? So there are a lot of different actions that you need to take, but you need to make it in a way that it's straightforward to the user. Otherwise, they are going to complain everywhere that the returns process is really hard, and they are not going to come back. If you want to keep your users happy, you need to optimize the returns process. And as I told you, it's hard. Technically speaking, it's really hard. Also, you need to keep tracking all the behavior of your users. We wouldn't be able to realize that the autocomplete in the street address field was causing a lot of drop-offs if we didn't implement a lot of tracking. So we use a lot of Mixpanel, Google Analytics, Optimizely to do some A/B testing, and we do a lot of segmentations in Google Analytics. We import a lot of dashboards that they are already built for someone else, and we are always analyzing to give our customers a better advices on how to improve their business. Also, something that is very important is the Pareto, how do you pronounce it? Pareto principle, where the 20% of your users are going to give you the 80% of the revenue. So you need to find a way to find those guys. You need to find a way when they stop buying from you. You need to provide a way to give to the customer marketing who is the one that they are not longer buying from you. If you can identify those, they can send a targeted campaigns so they can win them back. These are win-back campaigns. This is how they call it. And you can easily bring them back as easy as sending a promotion. okay, we haven't seen you in a while. If you want to come back, I'll give you $20 off or something. This is a very effective way to bring back your 20% of the users that they are going to give you the 80% of the profits. Also, the customer support is very important to keep your users happy. Nowadays, it's really hard to do this because they have different channels to complain. They can complain in Facebook, in Twitter, in Zendesk, in your site, and the live chat, everywhere. And your customer support team, they need to be in the same page because this is asynchronous, and someone may pick up something, and then later someone else could keep the conversation going. So you need to find a way to centralize all the complaining.
Exactly. That's very, very, very important.
Yeah, it sounds
actually
bad, but
Yeah.
we need to do it.
Yes. And now the last stage in the framework is referrals. And referrals is when a buyer from you that has been a repetitive buyer, he starts to refer to their friends and people that he or she knows because he loves your products and service. And one important driver now for referrals is social media. And for that reason, we fork and extended one gem that we are now committed to port it also to Solidus. Next one. That is Spree Reaffiliate. And that means you have in Spree a way to give one personalized code to each buyer that they can share in different media. For example, Twitter, Facebook, and they receive some promotions, actually credits in your store to use for that affiliations of their referrals. And also the referees, they obtain some discount in a way that they can use in their first purchase. Next one. Now we are going to talk about generals, but not this kind of generals. Actually, general techniques in this, not in the whole framework. Yes. And one is you need to improve the UX in the whole process. And this is a topic for a talk for maybe Amanda or somebody else, but it's a huge, huge topic actually, the UX in e-com. Usually also to obtain information data using A/B testing. If you are not familiar with A/B testing, you must explore more about that. We usually do for our clients to do some A/B testing when we have enough traction. And also, of course, mobile optimization. I want to emphasize very much this point because now the trend is more and more mobile devices.
Yeah. Also, if you measure a lot of things, you can decide where to go. Technically speaking, for example, one of our clients they were sure that most of their customers they were using IE 10, and turns out that Google Analytics they were showing us that they were not buying anything. They were having a lot of traffic, but they were not buying anything. The ones that they were buying, they were using Safari and Chrome. So what we did, it was stop losing our hair, trying to make our site look good in Internet Explorer 10, and then we focus on the business doing more mobile optimization, desktop optimization for Safari and Chrome, and then the sales started to grow up. We didn't spend a lot of time optimizing the site for Internet Explorer. So just start wrapping up at the end. Let's say that you know that you have 3% of the conversion rate, and each average order is at $10, and you want to sell 1,000 daily. All you need to do is to do some basic math. $1,000 daily on a $10 average order is you need to get 100 orders. So 100 orders means 3% of the traffic. So what's 100% of the traffic? It's very basic math. So you need to have at least 3,333 daily users. If you have this, you can start targeting. Well, you can start giving these numbers to the marketing department, and they will know how to get more users. At least those users. So,
And also based on this framework, we developed this formula. It's one formula. It's not the formula actually for success in econ, but you must be clear about what are the business goals and objectives. And based on that, create a cross-functional team. It's not only from marketing people or developers or product people, UX, UI. You need that cross-functional. And also you need to have a clear baseline about to measure the different efforts and strategies that you are going to implement, and to have clear indicators, and also to prioritize based on the areas of opportunity that you found where you can minimize the effort and maximize the return of investment, and also to have a clear budget on the expected return of investment. Also, based on that, analyze the different strategies that are at your disposal and explore the different synergies, because usually these techniques, you can implement several of them at once. And they are more effective because there is a synergy and interactions between these techniques. And based on that, also take in consideration your constraints and define the experiments for your A/B testing to test and have actually using a scientific method to know if the different strategies that you are implementing are working or not, and then implement those with that information to production, and keep this loop. Measure, analyze, decide, and iterate. And that will give you more possibility to be a successful ecom. And win. Yeah. Excellent. Then the presentation is available in that link in bit.ly, Solidus, MagmaLabs. We are planning to have several posts based on these different techniques and also case studies that we have done with different customers. Thank you very much. We have candies, Mexican candies actually, for the best questions. Then it's an incentive. And maybe this is not, but maybe if we have a very
extraordinary.
That's nice. You see? Okay, we are open.
Any question?
Still in comments? Yes?
Yeah, we do a fair amount of A/B testing with one of these external platforms that injects JavaScript into the site and then changes everything up, as you know. One of our challenges is that we do a lot of A/B testing and very little seems to have an impact. So I guess I wondered what advice you might give us, because we see marginal increases on the B side or very small increases on the A side, but very little actually shows something that a mathematician would say this is statistically significant based on math, essentially.
Yeah.
And so it's one of our challenges.
Sure. The question was if after doing some A/B testing, you found that the evidence is not significant enough to identify a winning strategy. Then usually when that happens, you need to go back to your customers. And there is design thinking techniques and more UX techniques that means interview actual customers and learn more about them. Usually what we are doing in those cases, we do a promotion to customers. If they want to participate in a 30 minutes interview, then what we usually do is we have a video conf with them and check how they are using the ecom and learn about that process, actually. And then we ask them questions. And based on that information, we can have more evidence how we can change the ecom. Okay? Good question.
Yeah, also we have found that the best A/B experiments gains, let's say, 6% of improvement. So one advice is never stop trying to improve it. we have seen between 1.2% of improvements up to 6%, but no more than that.
Yep, that's true. Any other questions? Yes.
You mentioned that you have a lot of issues with chargebacks. We're lucky that we have very few chargeback issues, but we do have a ton of ABS-related customer service issues, and we're doing like pretty minimal ABS because we don't have a problem with chargebacks. We do pretty minimal ABS. Have minimal restrictions. I was just wondering if you guys could talk a little bit more about how you've dealt with some of those issues.
It's a very hard problem in Mexico that we had the problem, and some of the clients it was that big the problem that they had to shut down, because let's say 100 orders, 30 they were chargebacks, so it's really really bad for them. And some of the techniques that they were trying to do is, let's say, pay on delivery, use another payment methods like the 7-Eleven. You go and pay the 7-Eleven, and then you receive your packages 3 days later. And they what else? They were using more PayPal to accept payments. Either in Mexico, PayPal is not that famous yet. But and also people, they stop trusting in paying with credit cards in Mexico, so it was a big problem around that. Right now there are a lot of companies trying to solve that problem, but the basic thing that they solve is with pay on delivery, offline payments like the 7-Eleven or something, and PayPal. Yeah, so that's what.
It's also a legislation problem in Mexico, because we have very protected laws for customers. That is good, but sometimes it's difficult for the merchants, because a customer has 6 months to charge back something. Then you can imagine that. And also the credit card adoption in Mexico is low related with other countries, because it's 20% of the population has access to credit card actually. Then that is the reason also offline payments and payments in cash are very important if you want to have a successful e-commerce in Mexico. But actually a lot of our customers in MagmaLabs are not from Mexico, are from US, America usually. Yeah. Any other questions? Good question, eh? Yeah, please.
Yeah, you guys mentioned a lot of the JavaScript A/B testing stuff, like Optimizely. Have you played around with like some Ruby-based stuff, like Split?
Yes.
How well do you find it working with Spring Solid?
Yeah, the thing is that it was faster to do it with Optimizely. You inject the JavaScript, go on the screen, right-click, change this for that,
directly.
And it was that we were trying to prove the client that it was worth exploring, so they didn't have like a pro budget to do it in the right way, so that's why we had to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if you were doing it at a much more deeper level on the application side, if you could get more than 6 to 10% increase on gains.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you haven't,
Yeah, and that also depends of your size of visitors, because if you don't have enough visitors, A/B testing maybe is not the best option yet. If you have a large pool, then it's very good to have A/B testing, and you can have several experiments running in parallel, and that's very good also. Yeah, excellent. Yes.
Do you get any value out of e-commerce conversion alerts and analytics?
Yeah, we use that mostly for the business owners and marketing department, because they are just getting alerts and alerts. At the end, it's how our customers interpret the data. Our job is just to implement how we gather data. So they are setting up their own alerting and everything.
Yeah. We do some advice with them and work with them, but usually at the end it's more from their side. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Yeah. Thank you very much. We are very glad to be here in Toronto and with
yes,
you guys.
And yes, we did bring tequila from Mexico.
Yes, yes, yes. Not only candies. Not only candies. Yes. If you want candies, right here are. Okay.